Another day to do something useful. Another step towards a finished project. Welcome to Cherry Red. I want to move to one specific area here, and that is the trunk. We have options. We can either repair the old trunk handle, or we can modify it and put the Cadillac mechanism into this trunk. And that's what I'm going to do. I've got this trunk lid mounted and aligned, and the springs are crazy noisy. But anyway, we'll put some WD-40 on them or something someday. The plan is to get the trunk latch. Okay, this is the electric one from the Cadillac. Just releases with the button on the door, right? So I want to get this mounted on here, and then the receiver part of it mounted down on the bottom. The goal is going to be to tuck it all back and make it as inconspicuous, well, as least clumsy as possible. So there's a little guessing engineering on this one because, yeah, you don't know. I mean, you're going to put it where you think it's going to work, and then the top is going to come down, and you're going to put that one where you think it's going to work, and they're going to connect together. And how do you even know that? Because when the trunk is closed, you can't see in there. So this trunk closes around the radius, the pivot being the trunk hinge. And so it doesn't come straight down, right? It comes in at an angle down into there. So it's almost got to be, it can't be straight up and down. It's got to be on an angle. So it's nothing like the original 49 Fleet Line trunk latch. So, I mean, we're probably going to close this hole, probably close these holes, I don't know, because they're for the Chevy emblem. And I don't know, I don't think I'm going to bother with the emblems. If the emblems were in really nice shape, yeah, it'd be worth putting them on. But they're pitted and so on, and I don't want to spend money fixing them. So they look nice smooth as well, by the way. These 49 Chevs, these Fleet Lines, yep, just nice and smooth. I'm going to have just a small bit of chrome, well, stainless steel, right, around the bottom of the windows, and that's it. Chrome grille, chrome bumpers, bit of chrome on the tail lights, headlights, and that'll be the finished look on the outside. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount the bottom part, the receiver part first, and make the mounting holes slotted so that I can adjust the up and down thing. Because the problem is you close the trunk lid and you can't see what's in there. You can't see how much room you have or don't have. So I think I'll probably just hide a camera in there, put my GoPro or something in there and a light once I start getting closer, and then that'll help me kind of identify where things need to be mounted. So let's do the bottom first, get cracking on that. So first I'll clean any junk off of the old trunk mount, the bottom part that's connected to the back cross member of the car. Then we'll kind of use that as a base, as the go-to place to start from. And then build a mount on that'll hold the receptacle part, keeping it as close to the back as possible and as low as possible. Little cutting, little welding, what's the worst that can happen, hey? So we get that all mounted in there, and then the challenge is, well, no, you get it temporarily mounted in, tacked in place, right? And then the challenge is to work on the top part to get it to come down in alignment with the bottom part. All right, step 2, part B. We got the bottom part mounted in there nice. I think it looks really good. It's tucked down, got it so I can adjust it up and down once I get part B stuck in there. So now we're going to clear out the old mount area for the trunk latch out of the trunk, and then mount this one in there, something like that. So I got a pretty good bead on it, looking through the hole and down into here. And that hole for the old trunk latch door lines right up with the part that it hooks to there. So that kind of gives us some bearings. We're going to take it a little bit at a time and cut back into here, but not cut all the way. We can cut a little more off later. And then we'll mock it up in there and see how it looks. I finished welding it up, cleaned up the welds, and filled the holes in the trunk, all where the emblem went and where that trunk handle thing went. So yeah, that's good. Got her all painted in here, looking like a professional deal. Mounted on 3 points, welded in 3 points. Bottom one's got 2 welds, one high and one an inch or so lower. So it's going to be really strong, really good. Lines up beautifully. We are going to now, once the paint dries a little bit, screw all the parts together. We'll try the actual button, right? It opens I mean, I know it's going to work. It's not a problem. So it's got the electric button to release the trunk from the Cadillac. Plus it has the emergency, stuck in the trunk thing, but we won't put that in the trunk. It's quite long, this cable, so we'll run it up inside the back seat or something, so that if the battery's dead or something like that and you need to get into the trunk, you can just pull this and it'll open. The only thing missing will be opening it with a key. Which we don't have any outside lock for the trunk, which is kind of cool too. Or you can just use the Cadillac key fob to open the trunk. So grab this gasket, the weather stripping off the Cadillac trunk, and stuck it on here. And it's a bit fluffy, a bit big, but I like it because when the trunk comes down, it's going to seal real good all the way around. Now there wasn't enough to go all the way around, so the back little bit here, I actually had to put in a piece of weather strip from somewhere else on the Cadillac. I'm not really sure where, one of the doors or something. It is filled in about 2.5 feet, but it all closes on there real nice. It actually holds the trunk up just a tad from where you'd really want it when it's closed. But that'll do two things. It will seal it real good. It's up maybe 1/8 of an inch higher than you might want it, but at least it's not going to contact it. The paint's not going to rubber chip. And the other thing is it puts a little pressure on it so that when you pop that trunk switch, the trunk will spring up enough that you can put your hand under it. The other advantage is that it's going to really keep out the wind and the rain and the noise and all that kind of stuff, which is important because one of my goals for this car is to be super quiet. Yeah. So we'll put it all together. I'll get you to stand back here and watch and see if it opens when I push the button. Okay, it's all set up the way it needs to be. I got the wires plugged in here, so we're good to go. So I will close it. Yeah, it closed. But you know what? I think I'm going to adjust it down a little bit. But we'll just test it. Gonna follow the button. You ready? Watch it for me. Tell me if it opens. Look at that, eh? That's so classy. And one more thing I've learned from experience. I've got a lot of years of experience. I don't know if it's good experience or not. But you have two options when you're building a car. You can restore it or you can modify it. And restoring it is probably more straightforward because everything is already the way it needs to be. You are going to drill out any broken off screws and retap the holes. Even the ones that aren't broken off, you're going to retap those. It's a good policy. And, you know, lubricate everything up, maybe sandblast the parts off, whatever. This one here, to get this thing re-chromed, it's that pot metal and it's pitted and stuff, so that's going to cost a bit. And then I don't have the key for it, so that means a new tumbler and a key set I got to buy somewhere online. Hopefully you can find it, and I think you probably can. For these Chevys, they're quite common. So that's the one approach. The other approach is to just modify it, and modifying it probably takes, well, no, it takes a lot longer. When you consider that this car has been modified from front to back, from bottom to top, over the whole process. It's all been modification that adds up to now, what, 2 or 3 years, I think, that I've been working on it off and on. And modifying also requires a lot more talents, I guess you would say, or skills or whatever. And it's a good way to develop skills, right? When you're modifying, I mean, you're starting with something from somewhere else, a part that might work, whatever. If you got a donor car like I have, you're going to use those parts because it's going to be cheaper than buying new parts to put in because they don't fit anyway. So you're going to just use what you have, use what you can find around. And I wish I lived on an acreage or a farm or something. I'd have rows of old cars, parts, stuff stored up. But it's tough in here. I mean, I got stuff piled up everywhere, hanging on the walls everywhere. I've got stuff underneath the back porch. I've got a basement full of stuff. I've got 2 cars under tarps on the outside there. I've got 2 cars in the front garage. Yeah, you just never have enough room. And I have to bring my old truck in here and park it because there's no place outside. I don't want it to get, you know, snowed on. But that's our choices: modify or restore, rebuild and restore. And there's some guys that just love restoring. I find it fascinating too, you know, that you can take something old and make it like brand new again. Some guys are just really good at it though. I don't know if I want to get that good at it because I like to make things better. You know, the old guys standing around saying, man, they sure don't make them like they used to. And I just say, thank God for that. They didn't used to be that great. Man, we hated them. They were so crude. So it's a good thing that we have modern stuff, modern parts that we can stick in when we are modifying one of these cars. Well, here comes the heater. We're going to warm up again.